The conflict between Jews and Christians that John described in his story of Jesus was still a local experience, but it soon would be swept up in the rising political conflict between Jews and Romans over Roman rule in Jerusalem.
The relationship between Judaism and Christianity after the turn of the 2nd century would become more and more hostile as time went on, partly because of other political forces that continued to develop.
In the year 132 of the Common Era, Jerusalem bristled with rumors that the Emperor Hadrian planned to rebuild the city and the temple, dedicating it to Jupiter, the patron god of the city of Rome. For many Jews, this was an abomination worthy of divine vengeance.
The political expectations of apocalyptic did not simply die out after the first revolt. Some people, both within Christian tradition and within Jewish tradition, still expected a cataclysmic event to bring a new kingdom on earth soon.
Behold, the days are coming, and it will happen when the time of the world has ripened, and the harvest of the seed of the evil ones and the good ones has come.
Within 60 years after the first revolt, there would arise a new rebellion. We typically call this the Second Jewish Revolt against Rome, or the Bar Kokhba Revolt. And it's named after a famous rebel leader who really becomes the central figure of this new political period. He's called Bar Kokhba.
Bar Kokhba was a pseudo-messiah, supported by large segments of the population. He claimed to be a descendant of King David. He claimed to be the Messiah himself and was supported by none other than one of the major figures of the day, Rabbi Akiba. So this war was very different. It was a millennial revolt. It was a messianic revolt. And it touched chords that were not touched in the first revolt.
The earth's inhabitants and its rulers will hate one another and provoke one another to war.
Apparently he did take Jerusalem for some time. And coins are found now that say the year 1 of the redemption of Israel. They really think they have established the new kingdom.
You might think that there would never be another war like the first war. But the second war with Rome, the Bar Kokhba War, was probably even worse than the first war. Even though Jerusalem wasn't destroyed, the devastation might have even been greater.
Some people in the Second Revolt tried to press other Jews, including Christians, into the revolt, saying, "Come join us to fight against the Romans. You believe God is going to restore the kingdom to Israel, don't you? Join us." But the Christians by this time are starting to say, "No, he can't be the Messiah. We already have one."
Not long ago, in these inaccessible cliffs, only a few miles from the fortress of Masada, archaeologists hit on a discovery that has finally revealed the ultimate fate of Bar Kokhba and his followers.
Apparently, the rebels that followed Bar Kokhba hid in these caves during the last stages of the war. But we know that the Romans knew where they were and simply camped up on top of the hill, waiting for them to starve to death or come out and give up.
Rubble from the Roman lookout post is still there, blocking the only escape route.
One of the caves is called the Cave of Horrors, and it contains over 40 skeletons of men, women, and children who preferred to die rather than give in to the Romans. Another cave is called the Cave of Letters, and in it were found caches of pottery and coins and other things of daily life. Now, among the letters found in the Cave of Letters is at least one from Bar Kokhba himself. And it's a very interesting letter because it asks his friends and followers to bring certain things to the caves. So they're expecting to hold out for quite some time.
"60 years after Masada became a symbol of failed expectations, the Cave of Horrors now stood for the final failure of Jewish resistance to Rome. With the death of Bar Kokhba, Jewish expectations of a coming Messiah receded, and Christians now looked to the distant future for the return of their Messiah. The kingdom of God was becoming less an apocalyptic vision than a spiritual abstraction.
The self-consciously apocalyptic and messianic identity of Bar Kokhba forces the issue for the Christian tradition. And at that point, we really see the full-fledged separation of Jewish tradition and Christian tradition becoming clear.
It is a defining moment in history. The two heirs of an ancient faith, Rabbinic Judaism and upstart Christianity, would now follow separate paths.